Hi, listeners. This is From Ideology to Unity, a spiritual journey where we let go of ideological doctrine in favor of meaning, purpose, and unity as a whole. I'm here with Deyan Stanchev from the podcast Love of Learning, Homeschooling, and Children of the Future. Hiya, Deyan.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you here. So, how are you doing this fine morning?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good as every morning. How are you?
Yeah, it's pretty good to get up early. Yeah. So, speaking of that, so I hear you like to get up early and see the sunrise every morning.
And no, it's not every morning, but I challenge myself to do it once every 1 or 2 weeks. I'm also teaching myself to wake up early because I know it's much better. Wake up at 5, 6, and you have a much longer day. So I try at least once every 1, 2 weeks to go out. And it's a wonderful experience. Sunrises is a wonderful experience because it's you are alone in nature and you're by yourself with your own thoughts or no thinking, and then you can get some insights about what you want to do, how to do it, and it's a wonderful start of the day. Even if you're working, I suggest it. The whole day will be totally different. You'll be full of energy.
So it's like meditation.
And it's better
It's
because
a, like
when
a mystical aspect. Is it like the light itself energizes you?
it's like 1 hour before sunrise and 1 hour after sunrise, the sun emits some special energy to the earth, and when you are out, it falls straight to you. It gets into your soul, your body. It's a different type of energy you can't experience. Because to be honest, without the sun, there was not going to be anything on the earth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the sun is considered a god in a lot of mythologies.
That's true. That's true. Most of the ancient religions and teachings are thinking sun as the main source of prayer too. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your morning routine?
My morning routine is when I wake up, first I do a relaxation in the body, then 15 minutes. Then I'm doing a heart meditation, meditating on the heart. And then I do some breathings. Then I go out a little bit for 10, 15 minutes so my eyes get the morning sunlight. This is good for a good sleep. And then I do some, I either start work, and in the middle I do like 10 minutes of yoga. And that's it. During the day, while I work, I practice deep breathing, practice different nostril breathing to harmonize the brain.
Okay, so what exactly is astral breathing? How do you?
Nostril, sorry. It's
Okay.
so you breathe in from only left nostril, and
Oh,
you breathe out only from your right nostril after you close them. This is a They say it's yogic breathing, but I wouldn't say everything in the yogic culture is only yogic because this knowledge has been known everywhere in the world. And meditation is not only strictly to yogic people, Hindu people, Buddhist people, it's all over the world. And this different nostril breathing harmonizes the different parts of the brain because the left nostril is connected with the right hemisphere and the right nostril is connected with the left hemisphere. And when you breathe in from your right nostril, you put energy in your left, and then you switch, it goes to the right brain and goes out from your left nostril. It's very easy. You can practice it for 30 seconds, 1 minute a day. It's
right.
good.
So I suppose we can agree that meditating in the morning definitely gives you a good start.
Yeah, although I prefer to do the relaxations and the breathings in the morning and meditating for lunch after or on the train or a bit later before bed because then you need another practice as well. So I try to have them during the day. I'd like to ask you, what are your daily routines as well?
Okay. So I get up in the morning, get showered and get dressed, and I go down and have breakfast, and, and then I meditate for say 20 minutes or something. And what I want to work towards is then going for a walk, though I haven't consistently got in that habit yet.
Mm, that's
And
good.
the idea is after that, I'll just get on with work.
Okay, okay. What I found out with me, it's working real well. I'm missing breakfasts. I'm missing breakfasts, so it's going to be like about 14, 16 hours of not eating, and this makes me my body do intermittent fasting. And when I wake up, I do like maybe 500 milliliters of hot water, and then the day goes very well. And
So why is that? Why does it help?
because when you wake up, uh, it's important to put fuel in your body, and you've been dehydrated from your sleep. You haven't had any water, so you need water first. So that's why you drink water and make sure it's hot, it's not cold. Because if you drink cold water, then you use more energy to make it hot. And if it's hot, then it just goes straight into the process.
Okay, I'm drinking cold water as you say that, so I feel a bit
Mm-hmm.
awkward.
No, it's not to be awkward or not awkward, it's just process of learning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then missing breakfast is important. Instead of having typical English breakfast, which actually destroys your body. What I
Oh,
do, yeah, what I do is imagine what is going to happen if you put fried eggs, fried sausages, canned beans, white bread. What's going to happen? It's not going to happen if you put vegetables in or orange, or it's going to be completely different. And what I aim about 10, half 10, 11 o'clock, I either do orange or grapefruit smoothie or vegetables. For vegetables, I blend cabbage, beetroot, carrots, and something green kale. And I usually use spirulina or chlorella, and that's a very good start for your
well, it
body.
sounds pretty healthy. I admit,
And
you
it's
sound
all
like you've got into good discipline when it comes to food, and it takes a sacrifice to get into that, right?
it takes time. Yes, it takes
Yeah, it
time.
took you time to get used to it.
Of course, of course, of course. And the thing that put me into this type of food and everything was uh, the global pandemic. So I decided, instead of putting masks and all that is okay, but I need to protect myself. And I've learned that doctors usually don't know what I had. Lots of rashes, sometimes on food I eat, sometimes emotions. I'm not sure exactly what. And I decided to improve my food intake
Hmm.
together with the global pandemic. So the virus is not going to live in me much.
All right. It sounds like you've done a lot of research on food and nutrients and how to and superfoods to how to to really optimize your health through that. So, what would you say the key things to consider are for that?
The key foods, you mean?
What key food and nutrients to focus on, or any tricks or hints that you have?
It's a very long topic because I've been learning this the last 12 years. But if I give you an advice, drink apple cider vinegar, organic. It has potassium, so you drink after you drink. I drink the hot water. After that, maybe half an hour after that, I drink organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, 1 or 2 tablespoons in one glass, and I add iodine, and that's it.
Right? Do you put it with water? Do you drink it with water or on its own?
On its own, it's too strong. With one glass of water, and then 1 hour before you eat, you drink it again for lunch and for dinner. It helps you digest the food better because it has enzymes to process the food. And that's one of the key things. If you eat, let's say, fish and chips, which is They say that typical English breakfast,
Right.
lunch, fish and chips is just total poison for your body.
But what if you
Because
have it with apple cider vinegar?
if you have it with apple cider vinegar before that, you digest it better.
So why is it poison for you?
Because if you eat it on its own, you don't have any enzymes to digest it, and because you have no enzymes, then your body is going to use deplete your own enzymes in your body. And when you're born, let's say, with 100% of enzymes, yeah.
I
And during your
suppose, but don't we evolve to have enzymes for the use of eating food,
no,
right?
no, that's why we age. We use the enzymes of the body to process the foods if they are not in the food. So if you're eating living food, then you don't use any enzymes. Yeah. And if you eat apple cider vinegar, drink apple cider vinegar. If you eat salad with your food, and the best one is sprouts. Sprouted foods, that's the best food you can eat.
Oh, sprouts aren't exactly popular though.
They're not popular, but if you like, you can stick to fish and chips and McDonald's. This is popular.
Yeah, I see the conundrum there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good to have to take care of your body, because if you don't take care of your body, then if you say God, if you say universe, is also not going to take care of you. He'll see, or she or it will see that you don't take care of yourself. Why should he help you? Why? There's no reason.
God only helps the healthy. Is that what you're saying?
If you help your body, then you help also God in you.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
if you feed it with junk stuff, if you drink alcohol, if you smoke, if you take drugs, that puts unnecessary toxic bad emotions. That's unnecessary toxic in your liver, especially, and you
Okay.
need to take care of your liver. Otherwise, all that bad junk stuff is stuck into your body, into your chakras, in your mind, and you start to have autoimmune disease. And you go to doctor, and they say, "Oh, it's not because you eat every day English breakfast and then top up with fish and chips and dinner at McDonald's. It's not because of that. It's just autoimmune system diseases in your genes."
Right. Well, I have to point out for the audience, I don't eat that way every day.
I'm not saying about you. I'm saying about myself in the past, about other
Yeah,
people
I was
who
just
don't.
joking.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you have any other like vital techniques for your health? Like I saw on Facebook or something that you posted different stretches that are good to do every day.
Stretches.
Yeah.
What I do is I do the 5 Tibetations. You can
Oh,
go,
okay.
you can search them online. There are 5 asanas, 5 stretching, you can say, where a long time ago, when I was looking for longevity tools, it came first. So there, you just can look for them. They're available, and I do them almost every morning. It
Do you call
takes
them turbations?
5 Tibetations, yeah, for Tibet, yeah,
Oh,
Tibet,
right, right.
yeah, and it takes like 5, 6, 7 minutes to do them. It's better than nothing. And recently, I watched Ido Portal's information about how to move, and how movement develops your brain. So I'll be starting introducing new movements in my routine. Also, music is good. Music, learning a new instrument.
Ah, yeah, that I imagine that would be.
Yeah, just pick one instrument you like maybe saxophone, or something easier. I don't know.
I suppose it might give something to people to do during lockdown if they're stuck in lockdown.
Yeah, yeah. Even if not lockdown, is good to feel better or impress someone.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
So,
And
would you say, as for like just raising your vibes generally, like what are good tips for that?
the good tips are to have good emotions, or to create good emotions. because with food you raise your body, your body uh, vibrations. With emotions you raise your invisible body vibrations, because we have physical body and we have invisible bodies. And let's say when the child is in the mother's womb, it takes 9 months to develop the physical body. And then when it's born, the emotional body is not developed. So the first 7 years, it develops the emotional body. So it's very important what kind of emotion he, he or she sees in the parents or in the surrounding, and it's crucial for the development of the child. Also, it's crucial for everybody of us. We can always change our emotional patterns, but it all needs to start with self-learning and self-examining.
Right. It's a very interesting link you're bringing up here between our diet, and our physical health, right, and I suppose our spiritual health, and
Yes.
that might be neglected for people who are getting into spirituality, but they might neglect their physical health because they feel like it's not as important.
Oh, from what I've seen is people that are developing their spiritual health, they usually develop their food, body health as well. Most of them
Okay.
are vegetarians, vegans. The only problem that they can face is if it gets into an obsession, if they start condemning people about what they eat, if they feel like they're higher than other people because of their consciousness development or their body. So it's a tricky path as well.
Yeah, that can be a trap, isn't it? I mean, that's actually something I don't want to go too much into politics, but it is kind of a theme on my podcast. That I feel that's a trap that a lot of people can get into where they get a raised frequency or vibration to a certain extent. They're aware of certain things, but then I guess they might be inclined to judge or their ego gets involved in such a way that, oh, other people are eating meat and it hurts animals or this, that, and the other. And then you're just back into the same old cycle, just in a different way.
Yeah, I feel sometimes the same. Like when I walk around and see people eat fish and chips and the burgers, and I
You
feel
feel
like,
inclined to judge.
yeah, yeah, we all are, because we've been raised with certain programs. And if someone is saying that he's not judging, or she, don't trust them. We all judge, subconsciously or consciously.
But we can be aware that we're doing it, which is a difference, right?
It's different, yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is the first step. The first step. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long path.
I also feel there's like this cycle of you might feel like the thing. Obviously, if you end up criticizing someone quite heavily for eating burgers or what have you, right? They might feel attacked, and then and later on they might go to, let's say, a vegetarian or someone spiritual and insult them, and then there's this
but
cycle of ego, really.
but when you say criticize, that's the second step. The first step is in your mind. Yeah,
Hmm.
in your mind, when you see and you just think, oh, what they're eating. It's a criticizing straight away that lowers your vibration. But of course, it's good to be conscious that most of the people are not aware what they do, why they do it, why they eat, and it's just a normal process, because I've been there. We all have been
Hmm.
there. And one step of raising your consciousness is by stop eating bad food. If you want to eat meat, go and buy proper meat. I mean, that is grass fed, also good for environment, that tastes better, that will bring you good value. Cook it in a good way, instead of, let's say, going to a restaurant. You don't know what's the food there. You don't know the chef, what kind of emotions it gives to the food, because when you cook, it gets everything that inside.
Yeah,
So
that's another element to it that I didn't consider.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And also educating our children to have good and healthy food habits, super important.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, I mean, so you do feel like obviously it's not just that we need to focus on what's healthy, how to educate ourselves and improve ourselves, but part of that is when bringing up children, we need to do that. We need to really be considerate of and conscious about how we educate them. What could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I would say first, the parents should be conscious about what they're doing, what they're stepping into. They should know what's going to happen, and they should learn that everything they do is copied by their children, like emotionally, food. So we should give them good example what we eat, how we eat, when we eat, and it starts with us. So we need to be constantly changing and getting better, not just for ourselves, but for people around us.
Do you mean to lead an example?
To lead an example, yes, yes, lead an example. Yeah, because it's one thing you say, oh, you shouldn't do this, and then 5 minutes later you do it. What do you think? Is yeah,
Yeah, I
is
know
it
that
going to?
one. You start
Yeah,
to learn about better ways of doing things, but you're still not being entirely consistent.
yes, yes. So it's a whole, but of course we shouldn't be too judgmental on ourselves if we fail. It's a process of learning and getting
Yeah.
better. But if you're doing the same mistakes over and over again, then you know you're in that loop. Then you probably even not, wouldn't notice it.
Right. So, are there any particular methods that help us learn more consistently and improve ourselves more consistently?
Learning methods. Maybe if you have like a methodology about what you want to learn. Let's say if you want to improve your health, start investigating best books about how to eat and learn. So you need to have a couple of sources. Let's say have a book, then maybe do a course on this, and then maybe watch on YouTube or listen to podcasts, and everything you read and learn, put in a document. Put in a document so you keep it somewhere yourself and you reread it later on. And of course, practice. Start small. Introduce small things, small new habits per week. For example, in your case, start missing breakfasts. Start missing breakfast. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. And then in 2 weeks' time, see how you feel. If you feel hungry, drink half a liter to a liter of hot water. Yeah. And introduce apple cider vinegar and iodine. This is a good start. And do it for 2 weeks, see how you feel. For example, notice yourself. Do you get sick? Do you get sick during the year often?
uh, not not that often, to be honest. Or at least if you're talking about
Do you get sick for
colds and
more than one day?
well, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I personally haven't been sick for the last 6 years for more than one day. So that means I'm doing something wrong. Something right, sorry.
What depends what you want to achieve, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get sick. I think everybody wants to do that. It's not good to be like for 1 week with flu or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah, and I can give you one insight if you get sick.
What's that?
So that's when you get sick and you feel you have the temperature, you feel weak. Put very warm clothes on. Turn on the heating in your room a lot. Put two blankets in your bed and go to bed at 5 6 o'clock. Drink hot water, but very hot water. Drink it for let's say maybe a liter of hot water. Small sips, and stay like that. Don't eat anything else. Start sweating. You sweat, you sweat, you sweat. You drink more hot water, and about 10, 11 o'clock, after 3, 4 hours of sweating, have a shower, hot shower, and then go to bed again. Sleep, and in the morning, continue with hot water. And the next day, don't eat anything. Just tea, hot water, and you'll feel much better.
So it's
Yeah.
about cleaning out your system.
Cleaning your system and not don't putting food in your system that is going to get your energy out of your immune system. Yeah. So if you eat
Ah,
heavily and you're sick, all the energy will go into your immune system, into your processing the food instead of your immune system. This always helps with me.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, sweating out.
So you mentioned that the first 7 years for children are really important. What was your childhood like? Your upbringing?
My childhood was I was raised in a small town in Bulgaria called Haskovo, and I was spending lots of time with my grandparents and my parents. So it's good to be around elderly people. My grandmother was a teacher, and she was spending lots of time with me, and she was showing so much love to me because I was the first child, the first
Right.
male child. So I was surrounded with lots of love, and I've been read lots of books, spent lots of time in nature, and also I was going to kindergarten, spending time with children. So I was in a good environment.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. So what did that teach you about what's important for children as they grow up?
It didn't teach me about children exactly, but it taught me to be more like maybe to be willing to learn things,
Right.
the love of learning. So this is the thing, to be also to be kind of independent because I'm also a single child. I've spent time being alone, so I've had my own thoughts. I didn't have any computers, so I didn't rent my brain to the computer, and yeah, it develops the brain. I didn't have any traumatizing experiences. I haven't been beaten or any problems with peers. It happened. I had problems with peers in school, but the first 7 years were really relaxing and calm, and I think that's very important. The child to be surrounded by love, by good examples, parents not arguing in front of the child.
Well, to say you're fortunate in your upbringing.
Yes, yes, I'm very thankful and being fortunate. But if you have any issues in your childhood and you know who they what exactly they are, there's some exercises and things you can do to first remember and know that's the problem, then forgive, and then accept.
Could you outline those? Because that might be helpful for listeners.
One of them is if you so first the thing is to know which one is the traumatic episode in you. So, for example, uh, your father beat you because you drop a glass on the floor when you were four, and you still remember that it's somewhere deep inside. And this is what I learned from Taoism. It's a bit funny, but basically, it's an exercise. You stand up with your head straight, you think and you feel about this moment and how you feel then and now. And then you breathe in and you turn your head left 90 degrees and you breathe out. Then you straight, you breathe in, then right, breathe out. Then straight, breathe in, and then it goes left again, breathe out. So basically straight, right, breathe out, straight, left, breathe out, and somehow this exercise harmonize things that has happened in the past. I've used it for bad experience I've had in my adult life, and it works. It
How did you
creates.
discover? Sorry.
Yeah. How did I
How?
discover it?
Yeah.
There was a time, and I still pray to God to send me uh, teachers, to send me information and everything that's suitable for my development to become better. And in my search for this, I think it was 2014-15, I just found it. It just came up. It's a Taoistic practice, and the lady explaining in the practice, she was explaining this exercise helps bad experiences with bad experiences,
Oh, that's really helpful.
and
So
it's easy. Eh? It's easy.
that sounds. yeah, if it's easy, I mean, there's no reason not to try it. So,
Hmm.
do you know of other like Taoist approaches that are good for spiritual or physical health?
The other thing is when you meditate and you put your awareness like 20 centimeters above your head here, and when you put it here, it tells your body, it raises your energy on your spine, and it goes up all the way here. So if you have any blockages in your heart, it's not going to get higher than your heart, and you start feeling some, you have sensation in your heart area. If you have blockages in your solar plexus, you have experiences in your solar plexus. If you have in your thyroid, then you know you have blockage here. I have in my thyroid gland, for example, and the energy doesn't flow very well from here. It flows like if the river has been stopped in one place and it goes very slowly. In your case, if you have heart blockages, it can stop here and just put your awareness 20 centimeters above your head. Like, the saints have been described with this aureole above.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a sign. So in all those cultures, there are different signs like that that helps you use them, yeah, and learn from them. So if you put like you have an aureole on top, a halo on
I'll say
top of
this
your
is the
head.
light from my room.
Yes, in your case, indeed.
And I was joking. Yeah, you can it's to do with the chakras, right? And that's like just above the crown chakra.
Just above the 20 centimeters above the crown chakra. And then wherever you have blockages, let's say in your case, you have some issues in childhood, like everybody, it could be in the heart, goes in the heart.
Well, I actually have a heart. No, I actually have a condition that affects the muscles of my heart. Actually, no, it's not particularly my heart though. So, but I wonder, like you said, so to put your tension like just above your head, and you feel, is it some sort of sensation or constriction somewhere, and that's where the problem is?
It's not a problem. It's like a blockage.
I felt something in like my upper chest,
Yeah, then
maybe.
probably that's your thyroid. You can do something else as well. You can breathe in and breathe out from your heart. So when you breathe in and you breathe out and you put your attention in your heart, you're breathing and breathing out from your heart, and then create a very good sensation and feeling of love, joy, gratitude is easy. Gratitude is easy. Um, Also, yeah, one of those, for example,
Right.
or yeah. And then when you breathe in and breathe out, just put your awareness in your heart and create this feeling of gratitude. This way, you breathe in and you breathe out from your heart, and this way you purify your heart chakra. You can do the same with your thyroid, uh, navel, solar plexus here, this one. Or you can breathe in and breathe out light coming from your heart. You can do this
I did
through
it just for a few
practice.
moments, and it felt, even just for a few moments, it felt pleasant.
Yeah, yeah,
Felt
yeah,
like it was
that's good.
helping.
Yeah, yeah. Gratitude is good. Joy, any good feelings you can create. Or for example, you can imagine a moment. Let's say what I do is I go and hug my grandmother, and she says my name, and she hugs me with love, and this creates this feeling of joy in me. You can have something like that, and then you concentrate in your heart and you breathe in and breathe out, and then you move this energy all over your body, and it generates. Yeah? And if you are about to cry, it's good. It's good. Then start crying, because this releases emotions, blocked emotions. Even if you have a small feeling that you're going to start to cry, push it. Push it. Every time you cry, it's good. They say men shouldn't cry, they say men shouldn't cry in society, and it's one of the things should be. I think it's not right. It's a dogma for men to cry or to
Yeah.
have emotions. It's wrong.
I mean, you can
I
be
judge this.
strong and cry as well, right? You can be a strong provider that wouldn't find attractive. It's the idea that that yeah, I think that's a but one way or another, that's an ideology of a sort, and I think we're better off without it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, how do we deal with negative emotion? Because you emphasize positive emotions are really beneficial for us, but what do we do with what the negative stuff, emotions that come into us or arise from us?
So how to deal with them is accept them. First, we need to monitor ourselves. We know, okay, this is negative emotion. This hurts us. This is the first step. Yeah? If you feel this negative emotion for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, then it matters. Are you going to allow it in yourself for 5, 10 seconds, or is going to be with you for half an hour? Yeah. So in the first 5, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you you see, okay, it's negative.
Hmm.
It depends what kind of emotion it is. Is it something you feel bad about someone? Is it something bad that happened to you? All that needs to be treated differently. If you feel bad about someone, then accept, okay, he's just a human. He makes mistakes. It's normal. He doesn't know what he's doing. If it's something you've done that you don't like about yourself, reconcile this. Again, okay, it's good. I ate some sugar cookies. I shouldn't feel bad. I'm just a human. I do mistakes. And then change this feeling with something good. For example, start thinking about something else and replace this feeling with something good and get your mind in somewhere else. It's the same thing when you have someone talking about complaining about things. He or she is projecting their negative emotions, right? When you talk with
Right.
people, they complain, they don't like this, they don't like that. Usually what I do is this is the issue because I usually don't have much negative emotions. Like sometimes I have anxiety, but I like it. I like it because uh, then I find it in me. Uh, I manage to find it in me. That's okay. I'm anxious now. What should I do? Uh, I try to reconcile this feeling, to relax myself, to breathe in, breathe out deeply, and then okay, it comes again. Okay, it comes again. Then I try again. In this way, I become stronger. But if it's someone else, you can't just say, "Oh, think positively." No, no, no. Then you need to reconcile with other person's feeling and show empathy, and in a
Hmm.
subtle way, change it in a good way. Change. Okay, so you felt bad, but also in this way, you grew because you know what to do in this situation next time, so you're not going to feel bad. If that person acts the same way and you feel bad the same way every time, it seems like a habit and a routine, and you need to break out of these habits. So
All right. That
basically,
sounds
change the feelings.
how. So, do you just think of sort of a different feeling, or is it that you transform that feeling into a positive feeling?
I transform this feeling into a positive feeling
So, it
because
has to be
if you,
something connected to it, but a positive way of feeling about it.
yeah, yeah, because if you just if you transform it, then it remains in you. Yeah, a lot of people say, okay, I forgive. Yeah, but actually they haven't really forgiven.
But
I've accepted, yeah, yeah, I've accepted, but they
so,
actually don't accept.
so you feel we should just let it go instead of actually doing something with it to change it.
And no, no, don't let it go and be in you for half an hour, of course. Just look at this feeling and this emotion and this thought from a perspective outside of your body, from the perspective of your soul and your spirit.
Oh, right. I think I've got it. So you've got your emotional body, right? And
Yes,
you've got like your spirit body, and you
yes,
observe your emotional body with your spirit body.
Yes, yes, yes.
So there's a sort of detachment where you let yourself dwell in it. You let yourself feel it, but you don't. But you observe that you're feeling it rather than letting it take over or trying to get rid of it.
Trying to get rid of it, it's so if you fight against something, for example, if you fight against uh, hunger, famine, yeah, you're not doing much. You shouldn't fight. You should embrace, accept, and help remove,
Mm.
remove the issue. Because fighting is it's a like a reaction to something bad that has happened. But I think you said it very well. So make your spirit body investigate the emotional body like from a third source,
Right.
because these emotions and these feelings they are they come from past experiences from the first 7 years, from the next from 7 to 14 as well, and all that makes us the people we are today, and all that makes us do 95% of the things we're doing. It's scientifically proven that the first 7 years affects the rest of our life
Okay.
unless we know it and
Yeah,
change it.
it's really important. I mean, even mainstream science understands that. Yeah, the importance of the first few years. So, just for the audience here, do you think we could clarify what the different bodies, or at least according to mysticism, like what the different bodies we have are? So there's a reference point.
So uh, what I've found out is like we have the physical body, which we're
Mm.
born with, which is the body we feed food. We have the emotional body, which develops from uh, 0 to 7, and it feeds on emotions, and all those emotions are creating the past experiences that are going to affect the rest of our life. So it's important what emotions we feed our children and the people around us. And then we have the spiritual body, which is where our spirit or true self is. And if we want to, when we die, if we want to go the right way to the source we have come from and follow the light, we need to have high level of energy in our bodies, physical, uh, emotional, and the spiritual body. We need to have high energy level to have this process, the transition from life to death, smooth. But what's happening? It's happening that the people, when they age, they're 70, 65, 75, and from the age of 50, they start taking pharmacy things to make their body work. And this depletes their energy in their body. So actually, when they die, they have very low level of energy in their body to
What
get
kind of energy do you mean? Do you mean the energy in the physical
spiritual,
body, or do you mean
in the spiritual.
how do you replace? How do you deplace it or renew it?
How do you you deplete it with toxins? If you deplete your physical body with the foods, if you deplete your emotional body with the emotions, it depletes the spiritual body,
Why is that?
because everything is connected.
Oh, well, yeah, of
So
course.
if you have very weak body, like full of McDonald's, full of fish and chips, full of English breakfast every day, and no vegetables, no fruits, what's going to happen when you die, when everyone dies like that? They're going to have very low energy and might not even find the way back. So they might get stuck for a while
So
until they learn their lesson, how to
this
treat their
knowledge is
body.
out there, right? But it is out there, even if it's not widely known, especially to some. Maybe it's hidden knowledge, right?
No one talks about this. No one,
Right.
you
But
can't
if the
see it on the TV.
corporations have been encouraging all this unhealthiness and governments have been encouraging all this unhealthiness, but there is at least some high up who actually know what's really going on. Why is that?
I think it's because it's people need to look for it. Yeah. First, people need to wake up. So I didn't find it just like lying in my bed and eating my fried chicken. Yeah, I was looking for it. I was searching for it. I was praying to God to give it to me. It's a long process, and you need to give away lots of things that you like the cookie, like the breakfast, like the sweet, nice steak with the fries. When you go in a restaurant, what options you have to eat? What options? What people want to eat? So people want to eat unhealthy, but it also comes from the government. The government is not teaching these things, and I think it happened like 100 years ago. They started to substitute the good foods. They substituted processed foods. They implemented schooling, which is not good for nowadays children and also for them. They implemented water poisoning, which they
Do you mean
even talk
fluoride?
fluoride. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So never cook with food. If you want to have good body, water is very important. Oxygen is very important, more important than food. And then food, emotions. So drink clean water. Either have a filter, don't cook, don't cook also, don't have your teas with tap water as well. Mhm. What I do is I drink distilled water. So buy a distiller. It it makes for 4 hours. It makes 4 liters of water, and that's the best water you can drink.
I heard though you do get certain nutrients in water naturally that you might lose if you distill it.
Yeah, I've heard this as well. But if you eat like I eat, you have plenty of nutrients to give other people as well.
Oh, okay. So you mentioned that you don't really agree with the conventional approach for schooling as it stands. So do you prefer homeschooling?
I would like to have a mix. So homeschooling is not just something you educate your curriculum at home. It's more like how you educate your children with life skills, emotional skills. For me, that is homeschooling. For me, homeschooling is not curriculum things. And I think there should be like a balance
Right.
between maybe school and homeschooling, uh, or maybe create like a place with 10 children, which where each parent will homeschool them the curriculum for 2 3 hours a day.
Right. So halfway house sort of situation.
That's I think that's the best, the balance.
That
That will be the
that
best.
sounds interesting. I've heard that I think it's Finland. I'm not sure, but apparent what I heard in Finland, they don't actually have children, especially young children. They don't go to school as early, and they don't have as long hours, and they actually do have better results.
I like this approach because let's say in school what we did is we went at we went at at 8 o'clock at school, yeah.
Hmm.
8 o'clock in the morning you go to school, so you wake up at 7, prepare, you go to school 8 o'clock, and then the school finishes 1 p.m. So from
Wow.
8 o'clock 1 p.m. you have 5 hours. From 5 hours of studying things I never used in my real life, like
Was that in
physics.
Bulgaria?
In Bulgaria, I think it's everywhere like that. Things like physics, things like chemistry, things like maths, algebra, geometry. Where did I use it? Nowhere. Things like uh, geography. Where have I used it?
So you don't think people we need that? Do you think those are things that are more optional for those who are interested,
I think those things that we use in school, learn in school should be optional, and other things should be learned. Uh, and
like how to learn?
how to learn.
If you teach them more how to learn and encourage that love of learning,
That's
maybe
true.
children will do it themselves more.
More like I think that parents should lead by showing how to do it instead of. So the first thing is parents should educate about these things because children cannot do these things by themselves.
Right.
Parents should educate this, should be educated how to do it. And instead of watching Netflix for 3 hours, spend half an hour. Mm, Pick one team that is interested. Let's say study the universe or study the our universe, the sun system, eh?
Yeah, yeah. The
And the
planets.
planets. Yeah, study them every day, half an hour. You have it every day, half an hour, and then you learn this. Then you study something else. Study 5 different herbs you can find in the mountain where you live. This is this herb, this is doing this. Okay, this is affecting the body like this, right? This is more interesting. And then you know this herb, and then you go Saturday and look for these herbs and pick it up. Then you go home and when you do and then cook with this herb and do tea and then again see how it affects your body. It's biology, it's
Huh.
nature, it's a love of learning. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
more.
imagine if you do that with your child, like that would help the relationship between you, right?
Yes, yes, that's true, that's true.
I just we think about how
Connection.
often we've brought up a certain way, and it could be done a lot better for sure.
It could be done. Yeah, yeah. Just no one teaches us how to do it because no one is interested of
Mm.
this, of having wise parents educating wise children. For example, if you take a look at Alexander the Great, he was 15 years old when he conquered Persia and the known world. 15 years old. So when I was 15, I wasn't anywhere near. From 15 till 20, school. Then from 20 to 25, university. And then you have 10 years lost in nothing.
Mm.
In going out, partying, or you are now in university, you should party now, you should go out and waste your time.
Yeah,
And
learning how to get up late and go to bed late
yeah,
and
yeah,
drink.
yeah,
I
yeah.
won't say I did learn some things that perhaps some social skills that were helpful at
Of
that
course,
time, but I also learned habits that I'll probably be better off not learning.
yeah, yeah. If let's say if I had someone teaches those things since I was 5,
How to
like a
pass.
mentor,
Oh,
not how to party,
oh God.
how to do my time,
Right.
how to learn, how to read books that improve me instead of reading some kind of fiction or literature. People can say, okay, Dostoevsky is good. I would say, no, it's better to read books that will give you actual knowledge to implement straight away. That's the best books.
Because fiction, even if it's very highbrow fiction, can be kind of indirect in the lessons it teaches you.
Yeah, I've read many books on fiction, and I wish if I could go back, I would read books on health and well-being, books about the different religions and what they teach, uh, books about mm, yeah, different things that make me better, how to handle my emotions, how to live in nature.
Yeah, and there's another thing where, I mean, it is nice to have, a fun yarn where you turn over the page. It's really
Mhm.
exciting, but being at peace, I've found from when I, from the meditation I've done so far, I do feel like in some ways it's more rewarding than the dopamine and the excitement of whether it's a page turner book or a fun film or a computer game.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's generally better to be at peace. I mean, I'm not saying just have a boring life where all you do is meditate, but I don't know if that'd be boring or not. But that anyway.
it's not meditating. It's not a boring life.
No, I didn't mean. I ended up saying something I wouldn't want to say after all. It's not boring.
Yeah, meditating. I think it's important to
Yeah, yeah, it's
the
actually very
children,
important.
the children to learn that as well.
Yeah, I mean, often it's adults are trying to learn to meditate after they've found that they're having difficulties
Mm.
that maybe they wouldn't be having if they were meditating from a younger age.
Yeah.
So, um, I hear that you're interested in the work of Bruce Lipton.
Yes, yes. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, all of them.
So, what do you like about their work?
What I like about them is they're giving scientific proofs of things that are happening to our lives and how we can improve. Like for example, Bruce Lipton, I learned the first 7 years are the most important, and they shape you for the rest of your life. From Joe Dispenza, I learned how you can change those first 7 years and reprogram yourself. I'm still learning. Everything is still learning. And from Greg Braden, I learned the power of the heart and how powerful it is. I think uh, first lecture of him I watched in 2014, and that's he got me on this good journey, more focused. So I would suggest them watch, and especially follow Gaia.com.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't. I don't actually.
It's worth it.
I haven't subscribed to them yet, but I do. I've checked
Uh,
them out on YouTube.
I suggest it's even for 1 year. Do it for 1 year. I think it's £75. This way we support them for the knowledge they give us. And on Gaia, I watched Joe Dispenza
Okay,
and
is
Bruce
this
Lipton.
Gaia.com or Gaia TV, or do
I
you think?
think Gaia.com. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of good documentaries.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, it's interesting because like you might get something vaguely. What you get in Ancient Aliens is just it's way beyond that, right? And it's way broader and more beneficial, definitely.
I also watched Ancient Aliens.
It is fun though, isn't it?
It is fun because it shows you the different cultures that have
Yeah.
lived around the world, and I personally didn't know much about them. So it's really really good, and you can see very smart people there.
Do you think it teaches you how not to do your hair?
Yeah, I think he makes it on purpose. This guy, he's
Really?
doing it on purpose. Yeah, yeah. And he looks very good with that hair. I like it.
No, I mean, people find it funny, but I don't think it's that bad.
Mm.
I'm not going to do it myself though.
And if I can just finish with something really interesting,
Well,
is we should educate the politicians in the way I'm talking about educating the children now, to be conscious and to be caring humans.
that's really important. Yeah.
Caring humans, that's the way we should bring up our children, solving the problems instead of creating. And all their decisions should come from, is it good for our country and our people, especially is it good for humanity and the earth? Because at the moment all the politicians are so far away from there. Even if you're a good person and you go there, it's not going to end up good for you. So the whole model structure of politics and people in power at the moment, I
It's not.
realize that it's not ideal to use this software, and the people in power are so corrupted. And you can see with all those decisions. So we need to have better people in power.
I mean, it's up to us to some extent to choose better people. But definitely, if we could have standards for people to be politicians, if there could be education standards for anyone trying to become a politician.
But it's up to us to educate ourselves
Yeah.
and educate people around us and inspire people around us to change. Because let's say, like in the movie Matrix, we all have been asleep. At one moment, something wakes up. Then we start search. In 3, 4 years, something else. And then you get more and more and more woke. awaken, and you
Kind of a
see that,
difference there, but
yeah, and the more pure you become, the more dirt you see around you, and
hmm.
that's the thing, how to get people rule us in a human way, better for humanity, not the earth.
Yeah,
Because what's
because
happening now is madness.
it is, and with all this technology, all this power that we have at our disposal, and yet if we're acting barely, if we're not, if we're acting like we did when we were in caves, it's better technology. That's just more dangerous, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. Well, that's a good note to end it on, actually. And I have to say, it was a really good conversation. We covered a lot of. I
Yes,
think it'll be quite helpful for people, not just interesting,
I
and
think so. Yeah,
that's
this
valuable.
is this is my this is the thing I want to do is write a book about all those things I talked, how they can apply in life easily, and it's going to be simple and easy for people to read and apply. And this is the way I live my life. I speak those things to everybody around me. Just not everybody wants to listen to me, but with the help of you, I hope it gets to more people.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope
Yes.
so too. And I really encourage you to write it because you seem like you know what you're talking about.
And the thing is, I have experienced it on myself.
Yeah, that's important too.
Uh, One last thing, if I may say, is research liver cleansing for
Liver
you, liver cleansing for you and for your
liver
audience,
cleansing, right? Yeah.
cleansing, research and do it, and do it. I did it. It's like you become much better after that, much resilient, much happier, not so much anxious, not so much angry, because anger is kept in liver, and toxic liver makes angry and anxious people. Chinese medicine.
Yeah, that we often think of our bodies and our emotions as separate, but obviously
It's
they're
not.
not. Yeah, so that was a really good conversation, and maybe I'll interview you again sometime.
Yes, yes. Let's do it again. I'd love to, and wish you good luck with your podcasts. And I'm always here to help as well.
Yeah, you too.
Keep in
Bye.
touch. Thanks. Bye bye.